Most of us struggle with mental health on some level, in some shape or form. It can look and feel completely different depending on which direction you look. Today I want to explore the polarizing topic of how horror games actually help my mental health. You see, I've always been fascinated with the reason why people play horror games. I feel like there's more to this subject than what meets the eye. Am I considered a dark person? Is there something wrong with me? Is it because of some sort of childhood trauma I'm still struggling with? Or do I just enjoy the feeling of being scared shitless? The truth is, yes, no, maybe. The older I get, the more I have to worry about. My family, physical health, my relationship, my job, my bills, and the topic of this video, my mental health. Obviously, I can keep going on, but I think you get where I'm coming from. In fact, I think too many of us get it. Mental health is a hot topic right now, and honestly, I'm kind of glad. For the first time in my life, I see more and more people opening up and talking about their own struggles. Who knows, maybe that's what inspires me to make a video like this in the first place. In some weird way, making these videos is kind of like therapy for me. Before I get too off the tracks, let's get to the point. Basically, when I'm playing horror games, all of my problems go away. Well, at least temporarily. You see, it's pretty difficult to think about your electric bill when there's a crazed man with a chainsaw chasing you through the woods. Not only that, but recently my back has been killing me. The pain is so intense, it literally carries over to other parts of my body, leaving one half of my body basically numb and in excruciating pain. Until someone runs up behind you out of the shadows in Alan Wake. Not thinking about that back anymore. But seriously, the atmosphere in horror games is absolutely fantastic, in the most terrifying way. The music for me always sucks me in, especially in psychological horror games with a slow pace and tense setting. The music can almost come to a complete silence, leaving you only with the sound of your footsteps. In these moments, I become so present and only worry about what's around the next hallway. Each step cracks on the old floorboards. Your heart is beating faster and faster. But at the same time, you're completely steady and dialed in. It's a beautiful thing. The music starts to slowly come back with a very unsettling, eerie tune. All of a sudden, the next boss steps out of the darkness as the music intensifies as the battle begins. You defeat the boss in an epic fashion with just 1 or 2 bullets to spare. The music stops and everything is silent again. You catch your breath and take a moment to gather any leftover resources, and more importantly, gather yourself. You press on through to the next door only to hear that sweet, sweet sound of the save room music. What I just described is the greatest roller coaster of every emotion and feeling of surviving. These moments are so addicting. In some weird way, I feel like it helps you in other aspects of your life because you're basically willing to face and overcome your fears.
You have to accept this in order to move forward. But there is freedom in this revelation. Everything you do, every decision you make from now on will open doors to the future. I want you to remember this. I want you to remember this as you play your game. Every single choice will affect your fate and the fate of those around you.
So it makes me feel more confident, patient, calm, resourceful, and even proud. I mean, let's be honest. It's basically a badge of honor beating certain games or watching certain movies as a horror fan. Outlast and PT are perfect examples of this notion. There is nothing really fun about playing either title, but there is a real sense of pride in completing them. You can probably say the same thing about dealing with difficult situations in life. It's not fun doing your taxes or cleaning out your gutters on the roof, but it's rewarding and leaves you with a sense of pride when completed. My point being is that not all games give you the same sensation as horror games. Now that being said, not all horror games are the same. Some have more action, while others might lean heavier into the psychological side. Some have balance, or some have a campy feel, with a little bit of comic relief on the side. I play a little bit of everything, but the Resident Evil series has always been my favorite, because of the collective mix of variety you get throughout each title. If I want something with a little more grindhouse vibe, with psychological elements, I'll play Resident Evil 7. If I want something with a little more action, I'll play Resident Evil 4. If I want something with a little more campy vibe, I'll play Resident Evil 2. If I want something with a little bit of everything, I'll play Code Veronica or Resident Evil Village. Each game targets a different emotion from me. So what's the point? How does this help my mental health? It's really difficult to put into words, but when my anxiety is high and I'm feeling down, sometimes you want something to relate to, something that will inevitably help you come to terms with it. So who knows, maybe by overcoming a nightmare within a video game will help me face an issue head on and overcome it in my real life. Or maybe by helping the main protagonist escape the darkness, defeat the evil around them, and somehow restore light, it can restore light into my own heart, resulting in a feeling that's less stressed about my own reality. At the end of the day, video games are an escape from reality. Now, this doesn't mean I hate my life. It's just merely an escape from the endless thoughts of what I need to get done in my life. Some people watch reality TV, some people go to the gym, some people read a book, some do all of the above. Life is about balance. It's okay to stop and take a break from our daily grind. We have to listen to our bodies. Right now I'm in the middle of planning a wedding, so naturally it's easy to get overwhelmed. It's difficult to find that balance within that never-ending to-do list of normal life, like work, health, relationship, and so on. It's easy to get stressed in these moments. This is where horror games come into my life and help me out, by reducing my racing thoughts and my stress levels overall. Turning off all the lights, headphones on, actively listening to my surroundings, and fully focusing on the task at hand is an experience like no other. Few things have me fully immersed like horror games. I've always loved the feeling of playing a new one for the first time. Saving up all your ammo or resources because you don't know what lies ahead of you is pure gold. I love planning out my routes before I head out into the unknown. I know backtracking really isn't a thing anymore, but I miss the fear of backtracking to areas you've already passed through, never knowing if it's going to be worth it or not. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. The point being, it's an adrenaline rush. Adrenaline overtakes the fear, placing the player in a fight or flight moment. At this point, our everyday problems become a leaf in the wind, floating further and further away, to the point where it's merely an afterthought. I experience a similar feeling when snowboarding. I have to focus and be present, or I'll catch an edge and eat shit. I also think different horror games evoke different emotions from me, resulting in a unique feeling with each game. Playing a game like Visage will evoke tension, fear, and an uneasiness throughout my playtime. This is an example of me facing my fears head on. Now, if I was feeling anxious or simply overwhelmed by life beforehand, the feeling of fear is now at the forefront, alleviating the anxiety feeling I felt prior to playing the game. Maybe it's witnessing the darkness of something or someone else, making you feel more gratitude for the good you have in your own life. Almost like a near-death experience. Most people who experience a near-death event feel more gratitude for their own life, allowing us to put things in perspective. Horror games allow us to have these experiences in a safe setting. Even if we're in danger in the game, you know you're still safe and sound in real life. There is no real-life consequences besides your heart rate going up a little bit when you get scared. You get to put yourself into these stressful situations knowing in the back of your head that you're going to be alright in the end. I'm sure many will say this is just a distraction from my problems, and yes, I'd agree. So is running, reading, hiking, and snowboarding, and everything else I like to do. Most don't even know I have a complete second channel dedicated to silent hiking films. Sometimes distracting your mind is a good thing. Video games can be a tool to benefit your life just like anything else. You have to go about it in a healthy way. Life is all about balance and finding when and when you cannot do things. That's up to you. You have to listen to your body and mind. Take a break when you need to. It's okay to do things you love in life, in moderation. I don't expect everyone to understand and relate to this video, because it's simply a video about how horror games help me. I also know there is a group of people that can relate and do understand where I'm coming from. So in a sense, I'm making this video for you and me. So comment down below if you can relate to this video. And if you enjoy this content, make sure you give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. Until next time, stay blessed.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?